right, you guys, let's get right into it. What's up, Detroit fans? What's up, Pride Nation? We're going to talk about the loss on the Detroit Lions on today. Definitely, it was a tough loss, and it was so close. The Lions definitely had the victory in their minds, but the Philadelphia Eagles said, not today and not on my watch, and they end up losing today to the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35. Very close game, but the way things were going, you just did not know if the Lions were going to be able to put up more points, but they did. And they was continue to be consistent with running the football today. I think that was the tale of the game for the Lions. They were able to run the football with Swift and able to get a little something out of Jamal as far as getting touchdowns in the goal line situation. They didn't really run Craig Reynolds on today, but definitely, man, Swift had a nice day running the football. Now, if you really want to tell the story of the game, it really ultimately came down to the run game of the Philadelphia Eagles again. Last season when the Lions played the Eagles had 238 yards rushing in that football game. And then this year they end up having another 200 yards rushing. They had 216-yard total rushing yards against the Lions. And a lot of that was by Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts carried the ball for 17 carries. He had 90 yards, and he also had a touchdown on the ground. When Miles Sanders, who did not play against the Lions last season, he had 13 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. All of the running backs of the Philadelphia Eagles were able to score. Ken Gainwell came in, had 20 yards rushing with the touchdown, as well as Boston Scott came into the game, had 10 yards rushing, and also was able to get into the end zone on today. Jalen Hurts was pretty much, if you look at it, he was pretty solid with his arm. He was 18 out of 32. Probably could have been better with the completions and things of that nature, but you know, it's the first game, and you know, guys are trying to get the jitterbugs out and the butterflies out of their stomach, and just get ready for the full football season, because you got 16 more games to go through. So pretty much Hurts ended up with 243 passing, did not throw a touchdown pass in this game. And I thought I would see a lot of Devontae Smith in this game. Really, he was pretty much null and void in this game. You know, it was A.J. Brown, who is the newly acquired receiver from Tennessee, came over and had a phenomenal game. He was over 100-plus yards receiving, and he caught that big pass for, I believe 51 yards or something like that. But DeAndre Swift was the man for Detroit on today. Swift lived up to a lot of the hype and expectations on him to play well. Now, ultimately, will he be able to get over 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving? I kind of doubt it. I'm looking at anywhere. I'm thinking that Swift can, if he can stay healthy, he can get over 1,000 yards rushing. But ultimately, I think he'll fall short when it comes to the being able to get 1,000 yards receiving. That's pretty tough to do, and you have to catch a lot of footballs. And I think he only caught 3 passes today for 31 yards. But Swift, man, just explosive, man. There's a difference between Swift and a lot of the other running backs on this team. DeAndre Swift is definitely explosive. He's a playmaker, and when he got the ball in his hand, you know, he's able to make things happen. And the Lions we saw that with Swift time and time again on today, that he was continuing to make big plays and ended up with a career day for him. I believe Swift rushed over 144 yards with 15 carries and a touchdown. And he had 3 receptions for 31 yards receiving the ball. So Swift pretty much was balling, did his thing on today. Jared Goff started off a little bit slow. When you look at the numbers, what he had at halftime, Jared Goff only had 53 yards passing. And I was like, man, this dude is not even over 100 yards yet. I could not believe it. But then the second half came and he started completing passes. But in this game, the receivers were dropping a lot of balls, so I can't just say everything was on Jared Goff. The receivers was not catching the football as well, and you need your guys to be able to catch the football. Now, one thing I can say about the Lions is that they definitely have to find a way to be inventive with the tight end, T.J. Hockenson. He did catch a few passes, and I think he dropped a few as well. But they need to be more creative with T.J. Hockenson, being able to get him down those seams and being able to create some mismatches with him is what's going to work out for the Lions going forth. And in this game right here, The defense, I love what Malcolm Rodriguez brought to the table. I believe he had like 4 tackles, but he was able to come up, man, and make a few plays on today. Tracy Walker kind of hurt the team a little bit. I know the momentum kind of carried him into Jalen Hurts on the ground, and he pretty much got called for that sportsmanlike conduct, and that hurt it big time, man. I think that they pretty much threw him out of the game, I believe, after that. So he ended up having like 2 back-to-back sportsmanlike penalties, man, and that really hurt the Detroit Lions because he was the only one on the team that got a sack. I think Tracy Walker led the team on today with 8 tackles, and he had a sack as well, and nobody else, not even Hutchinson, was able to get a sack on today. So definitely, man, it was all about DeAndre Swift on today. And I've been saying that so many times, guys, that the Lions got to make DeAndre Swift the focal point of the offense. He has to be, man. He has to be. Now, I can imagine if Swift had 25 carries, he probably would have ended up with 200 yards rushing on the day. But because he's in a run by committee, it's kind of hard to kind of keep getting him going. But he made the best out of every carry he had, man. Whenever you're able to break a long run like he did on today, breaking that 51-yard scamper, that's going to help you out. That's going to help you out big time and tremendously. So the Lions, they got to get ready for the Commanders next week. I know a lot of fans pretty much said in their mind that the Lions are going to beat the Commanders, and they should be able to beat the Commanders, but you just want to pump your brakes because you never know what can happen on Sunday. Yes, the Lions ultimately look like they can play with anybody, especially playing with one of the best teams in the NFL who could possibly even go to the Super Bowl. That's how good I think that the Eagles could be this season. Now, the Eagles gave up a lot of plays as well, too, to the Lions on the ground, and they gave up some plays in this game, but ultimately they made the plays at the right time to end up winning this football game. So the Lions walk away with a loss, and the Eagles walk away with a win, and hopefully the Lions will be able to bounce back against the Commanders. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, the Lions are going to win the next game. They should be able to be competitive and compete with the Commanders, but you never know what's going to happen. So I can't wait to see what the Lions are going to look like in the next game. Just like Dan Campbell said, this team is going to fight you tooth and nail. They're going to fight to the end, and that's what the Lions did. Ultimately, this Lions team is a fighter. They're going to fight. They're going to compete. And that's the thing that I like about them, that they're competing, they're fighting, and they're giving it their all because that's all you can ask for. But I still think that the Lions ultimately, when they think about the draft next season, they definitely need to grab a quarterback, and they definitely should be getting a linebacker to come in and help Rodrigo because he can't do it all. He can't do everything himself. You're going to have some studs at linebacker. And I think once you get those other pieces to the linebacker group, I think that the Lions will be a lot better. And I think that they'll be able to do the things that they need to do as far as being able to be better on defense. That's what you want to see. You want to see these guys to be able to cover the tight end. You want to see these guys be able to play the run and stop the run. And that's what I told you going into the season. If you go into my video when I talked about the Lions and the issues that they needed to fix going into to the season, I told you they don't stop the run well. And you saw that on today. We do not stop the run, especially against mobile quarterbacks. We do not. And the league is going to a mobile quarterback. And Detroit refuses to get one. I just don't understand why. And I know some fans be like, pocket passes have the most success and stuff like that. But if you look, man, and you look around the league, man, and you look at the Josh Allens, and you look at the Patrick Mahomes, and you look at the Kyler Murrays, and the Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson, and a few other quarterbacks out there, Justin Herbert, most of these guys can move around in the pocket, man. And the Lions, to me, ultimately needs a quarterback that can move around. I'm not saying that the guy got to go out and rush for 1,000 yards on the ground or anything like that, but I just, in my heart of hearts, man, I just think that the Lions are staying away from the dual threat quarterback. They need a guy that can extend plays with his legs. And I would love to take a J.J. McCarthy on this team. He doesn't run all the time, but he runs when he needs to. I would love to take a Will Levis on this team. I would love to take a quarterback that's not just going to stand back there and get crushed all the time. So the Lions, man, they got a lot of homework to do. Even though, I'm just talking about the future with the Lions as well. they got some things that they need to clean up, and being able to stop the run is going to be key in order for the Lions to start racking off some wins. So, all right, guys, this is Raw Detroit, and I'll be back to you soon with another video. I'm out of here. Till next time, peace.